You wake up from a coma, and it's your football coach yelling at your face. Maybe you're not even playing football, or you have no recollection that you are. Now I have a question for you. There's two scenarios. In one of the scenarios, the football coach is yelling at you that you are the star player of the team, and he's sending you out into the court. So you're actually waking up from a coma right in the middle of the court. We take that scenario, and then we take the scenario where he wakes you up, he yells at you that you are useless and the worst player on the team, but they need you, so play. Which of these two scenarios you think will produce a star player from a clean surface, right? Clean slate. You having the idea that you are the best player on the team, or you having the idea that you are the worst player on the team? Well, obviously, the best player on the team will produce the best result. And this has been done in science or research as well, where they for example, when kids moved classes, they did this study where they told the teachers different stuff. They told the teacher, yeah, this student that you're about to get is bad, talks a lot, not present in class. And then notice, okay, what is the teacher's observations? What are the grades and stuff like that? And then they did the opposite. They told the teacher, this is the star student, good in every class and stuff like that. And obviously it became a self-fulfilling prophecy in both cases. That idea, whether you give it to yourself or whether you give it to somebody else on your behalf, is what manifestation really is. Manifestation is your consciousness delivering its own perception to itself. Right? So consciousness is contemplating itself back and forth with you as consciousness. You have God or Source or Allah or the universe running through you. And then God or Source or Allah as the reflection, which is the production of itself. Right? That's how it gets to know itself. So that idea always becomes true. And this video is really about how a lot of manifestation advice becomes this idea instead of the truth. And if we really need to dive into this idea before I draw on the iPad as I normally do, the title could be Forgiveness is a Sin. Not God's forgiveness, but if you buy into the idea that you are not everything that you should be, that your life is not perfect, but you're trying to be, that you're trying to manifest money, trying to manifest love, trying to be together with your SP, then you are wrong. Then you are sinning. If we use Neville Goddard's word of sinning, missing the mark. You shouldn't have the wrong idea. If you buy into an idea which is a lie, not truth in the eyes of God, awareness, and whatever we should call it, if you buy into that idea and try to forgive that idea, meaning try to near yourself that idea, try to go into, okay, how can I solve this problem? Then we have entered into the territory that I call the problem solution paradox. I mentioned this in the other video that I made just a week ago, 2 weeks ago, where manifestation will not work if you buy into the lie and try to make it truth. And in that way, forgiveness is a sin because forgiveness is in the world of lies, right? Forgiveness, when you, and I talk about forgiveness in the sense that we're trying to stop sinning. We're trying to stop having this idea of ourselves by solving it. It could be low revenue numbers in our business, and I try to have higher numbers. Well, if you try to do that, you are sinning. You're still missing the mark because there's no trying. You have this idea that you don't have enough revenue, but it's just an idea. And I want to draw it on the iPad. Why is that just an idea? And why could you have all the money you want right now just by changing that idea in your head? Okay, so let's stick with me for now. Let's go with the first analogy of the football player. That idea turned into a reality, and let me draw it for you right now. Okay, good. So here we have a circle, and we have you in the middle. And you are born in the image of God, right? Any scripture mentions that you have it all at your fingertips. Why? Because you are reality. You think that your life experience is somehow separate from the world that you're walking in, but it's not. Your life experience is the only thing you will ever have. So you wake up with the totality of all life experiences because nothing has limited that life experience yet. You wake up as a baby without memory, without anything. In awareness, everything can then exist. You can show that baby anything, right? And if we go with an idea, this is just an idea to make it make sense to a human being, that there's one of these timelines towards, let's say that this is end of life, that this is paradise. So a certain way of going through life could be paradise on earth. Paradise on earth. But only if you continuously believed that it was paradise on earth. Because how consciousness expands, it expands by being aware of something. So awareness, its only job, its only way of doing something is being aware. It's all there is. So it's aware of something, and your dad tells you that you are a bad football player or bad at math or something, and you somehow go into that direction just for a while, right? And your mom tells you that you are good at making sandwiches, and you expand into that. So you continuously build an identity based on what you're told as a kid, what you see in society, but also what is not told to you, just what you learn from a random Disney movie. Then you learn a concept of death and separation, and you expand into that direction. And then you watch another random movie or another fight between your parents, and you learn that love is contingent, for example. That whatever, you get the idea. You keep on expanding, right? And you end up at another place. Also end of life, but it's only end of life in a linear sense. Okay, so let's not try to go into too much of these terms, but this is not paradise on earth. And what I'm saying is that this bad life is just an idea. You could have had any idea. So this idea is a lie because only paradise on earth was actually God's promise. So this paradise on earth is God's promise to you, and you have it at your disposal all the time. But you have this idea that something in your reality is not perfect, which makes it so. So you are looking at a consciousness. You're looking at your own reality, right? Imagine that you are in this snow globe. I don't know if it's called a snow globe, but you know these globes you shake at Christmas, and then there's snowflakes in them, right? Imagine that is you right now. So you're the snowman in the middle of the snowflake, but you're also the entire snow globe. You are the entire reality around you. So that exists only in your awareness with the mercy of you. You allow it to exist in your awareness. And you don't know how much power you have because you can actually tell that reality something different and then it will change. But you keep on telling it what you see. So you are in this inevitable and forever loop, basically, because you keep on leaning towards that idea. I've mentioned this before, but that's why you keep on going bankrupt or keep on remarrying or keep on having the same bad habits, because you keep on believing what you see in the mirror, what you see in your partner, what you see, I don't know, in other people. But God's promise is that it can be perfect and that that you have it perfect right now. Okay, right now. So there must be something behind. Yes, because what you're seeing right now is your own bad idea. It's not God's idea. So your current reality is a lie. Your current reality is this self-made idea in your mind, right? And that's what you're looking at. And you're looking at a filter that is making you unable to see paradise. So you could try. You could act out something, but you could also recognize the illusion. You could also recognize the lie, right? And that is what I do with my clients. Recently, I did it with I wouldn't say famous, but someone in sports that some of you might know. And the idea was also the same. Okay, always second best at my team, somewhat good at this, but bad at these other qualities needed in the sport. And what I said to this lady was also, yeah, but it's a lie. It's just an idea, and it does not exist in any place but you. It exists in you, and that's why you see it, right? And we need to tell a new story to fix it. And in that case, very disciplined person, the idea was changed instantly. Okay, so with complete power, with the promise of paradise on earth, I can recognize the illusion in everything that would not qualify as paradise on earth. And who determines that? You do in your reality. Right? So it can be sickness. It can be the lack of love. It can be anything, but any story, any idea that somehow makes you feel unworthy or as a bad person, or all of that is a lie. And the way you forgive is the correct way to forgive is not to believe in that lie and try to fix it, but to recognize that that lie never was there. So that's back to the problem solution paradox, is that to have the solution, recognize that the solution is the only thing that God promised you. Recognize that the solution is not there to fix the problem. The problem was your idea. You created the problem with an idea. The solution is right behind it, always present and always was present. I know I'm giving you a new, to some of you, I'm giving you a new lens in manifestation. And we all move, and you can recognize in my videos how I move, right? That I move to techniques, to manifestation. I came from God, moved to manifestation, and now I'm back at God, right? God as awareness, as consciousness, as all there is. And it's running through you. So you cannot have that problem and solution at the same time. You can only have one or the other. And I think it's a Course in Miracles that actually goes into the fact that there's no in between the problem and solution. There cannot, like any idea towards the best idea of yourself would be sin. So there can only be God's promise or the idea that you do not have everything. Right. So you can pick a random revenue number, or you can pick a random person that is not the ideal person for you, or you can pick to heal only one of your illnesses. But that would just be an idea that would be still missing the mark. Does that make sense? That all the way to God's promise, you can move right now and say and accept that that is what you have, and recognize the lie. Try to look at your own consciousness physicalized as a lie. It's simply an idea, and then stop paying attention to that idea. So how do you stop paying attention to that idea? Let's try to go into that. Because you have these two movies. Right? Let's say that this is movie screens. And you are somehow running underneath it. Hopefully you can see my screen. And so imagine that physical life is running through you as a movie, and it keeps on changing. So you keep on saying, yeah, but what about this bad revenue day? What about this supplier problem? What about this broken ankle? If we go to the sports, what about this director that did not want me in the movie anyways? If we go to actors, right? You go to all industries, but you keep on running along with it. Yeah, okay, then I can solve that with manifestation. Then I can solve that with manifestation. Then I can solve that with manifestation. And you say, but when can I stop running, Chris? Away from my current reality. It keeps on showing me this bad stuff. I say, but it will actually stop running when you pause running. When you stop running and you stand still. So this guy or girl needs to stand still in conviction. Conviction of what? Conviction of God. Conviction in the fact that it's right behind. The broken ankle it's your idea. The director that did not want to hire you, it's your idea that you look at. The the halfway there SP that is not your perfect SP, it's your idea that you need to accept that person. The bad revenue day, it's your idea. And you keep on running along with it. Okay, how do I solve this? How do I solve this? It's still not working. I'm affirming, I'm visualizing. It is working. But it's because you're using the wrong idea of forgiveness. You are using the forgiveness as sin. You are believing in your old movie, and it keeps on playing, right? So let's just draw it out right here. So it plays bad scene, bad scene, bad scene, bad scene, bad scene. And you can see how you keep on running from this scene to this scene to this scene to this scene, affirming, visualizing, saying it's not so. When will it be so, Chris? But when will it be so? I will tell you. When you stand still in conviction and you decide what is the new movie. What is paradise on earth, and have I accepted it? So this is the new movie. Let's call it paradise on earth, where anything that would not be God's idea of you is unacceptable. It is simply just an idea that is not the reflection of God. It's something that you have bought into, and you maybe don't even know how it was invited into your mind, and you should not care how. It does not matter. What matters is who. Who are you? What are you saying is true? So when you stop moving and you recognize that it's all a lie, that your headache is a lie, that your bad revenue numbers is a lie, that the losing lottery ticket is a lie, that your broken ankle, that the refusal, the whatever, it's all lies. It's your idea. And if you try to forgive that, you are believing it. You're buying into a story that is a lie, trying to forgive that lie with another lie, that you solved it with a technique. It would just be another lie, and you can build lies upon lies, definitely. But you don't need to. You need to recognize truth, and truth is that you are born in God's image. You have everything you want. You always get what you want. You have all the money you need. Everything is taken care of. You are loved. You are worthy. You are perfect. That absurd idea that you are not is an illusion. It's the devil's trick on you, right? You know, if you've watched my videos before, that old movie here is the devil's evidence. The devil keeps on showing you stuff. Look at this, look at this, look at this. Right? But it has nothing to do with you. And you should really recognize when you are sinning, when you have a good scene in the old movie, when you do something physical that changes your old movie, the devil will take credit for it. Yeah, we did that. You can definitely have good days in a bad movie. Definitely. But you don't need to, right? So go ahead, solve it in all the ways you want, but you don't have to solve lies. You have to recognize truth. That is maybe the most important sentence you can take from this video and into your manifestation life right now. I don't have to solve lies. I have to recognize truth, right? I have to shine a light on what I want, not what I don't want. So then you can see how I really mean it when I say get out of here, or that you should stop manifesting for a while, because you keep on desiring stuff, and that is forgiveness as a sin. That is, okay, let me try to invoke a change with my affirmation and my visualization in a world where I don't have it. That is you continuously being aware that you don't have it. So just go back 1 week. How much have you thought about not having it? How much have you tried to get it? How much have you affirmed to get it? It's here. That it's not here is a lie. Right? So settle into that. in your next meditation, settle into that. Breathe deeply and smile and know that you're perfect and that you have it all. You can just repeat, I'm with God, for example. Or it's all mine, right? I actually would recommend, now that when I mentioned it in this video, I would recommend, if you need affirmations that really solidifies this idea, if you need affirmations, go to the lessons in A Course in Miracles. They have so many good suggestions, actually, to what can you say that is better than saying, I'm rich, for example, which gives you this, it somehow, at the same time you're saying you're rich, you are buying into this current idea of yourself that you're not. Does that make sense? Right? Then why would you say it? So when you reaffirm stuff, it's somehow based on the notion that, okay, this idea is true, that I don't have it. And it's not. It's not how you were born. It's not how it's possible for you to have right now. And there's no journey. If you go back to this circle, there's no journey at all to have a new life, because time does not exist. Right? So these moments, they do not exist as separate moments. If we take like a red moment and a red moment and a red moment, so beginning and middle and end, they do not exist as separate moments. If you ask yourself, okay, what moment in time will I be here at the end of my life in the now moment? At what moment of time will I be halfway in the now moment? So it only takes one decision in the now moment to change this, to recognize it's a lie. And then final hiccup some of you will have is that you will say, okay, I have a broken ankle. It's not broken. I watched solidified consciousness based on my idea that an ankle can break, and it broke. And now I believe in it. I try to solve it, and I can solve it, but I can also tell myself it's a lie. What consciousness showed me is not what is possible right behind the curtains. Right? Okay, so let's not get off track before we end the video. There is a now moment where you can then say it's healed. And actually you can say it's nothing to solve. It's not true. It's not true, it's a lie. And then you will say in the next moment where it's still there, it's still not healed. Shouldn't it be healed instantly? So you can comment on the old movie. Sure, we can do that. So you can say, okay, but it's still not healed, right? And still not healed. Or you can just say it's healed, right? It's healed, right here, and stick to that. And yes, you will get to, lucky as you are, you will get to watch the miracle of that unfold. You will get to watch how that seemingly impossible thing of healing a broken ankle, and I'm talking from a client experience, seemingly impossible thing to just heal it. you can get to watch that in reality. You can watch doctors be surprised, or you can watch your wife or husband be surprised, or your teammates be surprised. You will get to experience that. And the more you exist in time, the longer time it will take. So if you're not in the present moment, in your power, in your awareness, just present. If you keep on going to an idea, it's still not solved. When does it happen? Oh, I must remember Chris's advice. Okay, let me do a technique. Let me do it again. No. It's the recognition. It's not the exercise. It's not the technique. Recognize that the idea of limitation, the idea of imperfection, is a lie. And just live with that. Walk in that. Walk in that when you need more money. Walk in that when you need, because those ideas are lies. That is a very, very powerful way to manifest. Enjoy the day, my good people. Talk to you soon. I don't know if it makes sense to say talk to you soon and get out of here at the same time. Get out of here, and if not, talk to you soon.